Hello and welcome to the August episode of Let's Talk Miamisburg. Hope your summer has been enjoyable. Glad to have you back with us. I'm Gary Giles, the city's Public Information Officer. Here's what we have in store for you over the next 30 minutes. And a little later in the program, we'll welcome staff members from the Miamisburg branch of the Dayton Metro Library System. They'll give us the latest news from the Miamisburg branch and provide an update on construction of the new branch that is well underway. You'll want to be sure and stay tuned for that discussion. But first, it's a pleasure to welcome back to the show one of our Montgomery County office holders who is kind enough to visit with us on occasion. The Auditor's Office provides numerous services that are valuable to the public, so it's great to pass along their helpful information whenever possible. Joining me to do that is County Auditor Karl Keith. Before we get to Karl, we want to remind you that viewers are invited to participate in our program. If you're watching us on August 10th, you are watching us live. To call in with any questions or comments that you might have, just dial 424-1679. That's 424-1679. Karl Keith, hello. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you. Always appreciate your time.
Appreciate it.
Let's start by reminding our viewers about the various functions of the Auditor's Office and then your background there in that office.
Okay. Well, the auditor has a wide variety of responsibilities, wear a number of different hats, serve as the county's chief financial officer, so we're responsible for maintaining the county's financial records, paying county bills, or the chief paymaster for all the county employees, prepare financial reports. I'm the chief assessor, so responsible for determining the value of property for taxing purposes and maintaining property records for that purpose, maps and transferring property ownership, doing tax reduction programs. We administer various tax reduction programs. And a variety of other duties. We sell dog licenses and vendors licenses and a license bureau. I've been there since 1991. I started out as the chief deputy auditor for 9 years, and I've been the auditor since 2000.
Okay.
It's a wide variety of duties. They're challenging at times, but I find it very rewarding.
And it's a large office. How many employees approximately do you have?
About 100 employees.
Okay.
And we've had to cut back like everybody else in the last few years. So we've had to do, cut some things and cut back on our staff. But 100 employees that work very hard, and I'm very proud of them.
Well, we always appreciate the timely information that you bring to us, and this month is no exception. We're not going to talk about property assessments, property tax
I've been here
assessments.
before and we talked about that.
Absolutely, but not this time. One of the ways that consumers can be at risk for identity theft now is through a device that's called Skimmers. Tell us and our viewers what Skimmers are and how your office has become involved in this issue.
Sure. Well, a skimmer is a small electronic device. The skimmers that we're seeing in gas pumps can fit in the palm of your hand. There is the device that criminals have been putting on the inside of those pumps, attaching it to the credit card reader, and it allows them to steal your credit card account information and can access your bank account, drain your bank account, do fraudulent charges against your account. Our involvement comes from, again, one of my responsibilities as the county sealer. So as the county sealer, inspectors from my office are responsible for testing any commercial device that's used to sell a product by weight or measure, which includes gas pumps.
Sure.
And so people have seen those little stickers on the gas pumps. They know me as the gas pump guy.
Very common.
So one of the things they do when they do a gas pump inspection, one of the first things they do is open up those pumps and check on the inside to look at the internal mechanisms of the pump and to check to see if there's been any tampering with it or if there's a leak or safety hazards, and now checking for credit card skimmers that are attached to the credit card reader. We were the first county in Ohio to actually find skimmers attached to pumps.
Okay.
This is back a couple of years ago, about exactly 3 years ago, is in August of 2013.
Okay.
We found 4 skimmers one day, 3 at a location in Moraine and 1 in a location in Englewood. It was the first ones that found in Ohio on a gas pump. but they've been found all over the country previous to that.
Okay.
So since that time, yeah, we've gotten real involved in this.
Well, let's put a couple pictures on the screen if we could and show what this device actually looks like. And as you said, it fits right there in the palm of your hand. It's very small.
Very small, fits in the palm of your hand, and the guys who know how to do this, the criminals that are doing this, they can access this gas pump and install this device on the credit card reader in about 30 seconds. It's small. They can do it really quick, and you can do a lot of damage real quick.
Let's look at that second photo, which shows it actually connected to a retail device. I assume that is a gas pump.
Yes, we're inside a gas pump here, and there the skimmer has been attached to the credit card reader. You can see that it's ponytailed into the mechanism there. So yeah, when our inspectors open that up and they see something like that that's been attached to the reader, they know they've got a problem.
One of the first questions that I had as you were explaining this to me is, a gas pump is a very visible public place. How are these individuals installing a device inside of a gas pump?
Well, they're pretty good. They know what they're doing. You know, again, this has been going on all over the country and for some time now. But they've developed ways to block your view. Sometimes they'll have a van parked behind them to block the view. They've got universal keys where they can open up those pumps, and so they can access that pump very quickly, install the device very quickly, and then be gone very quickly. We just had a case just this week up in Inglewood where two guys were seen with the pump door open, had the electronic wiring pulled loose. Someone saw them, and then they got spooked and drove off. But we believe that they were, in fact, getting ready to install a skimmer on that pump because they had disconnected the wiring from the credit card reader. But you know, there were two guys. One guy was in the pump, and the other guy was kind of blocking everyone's view from it.
Does the person have to go back then inside the pump and retrieve that skimmer to get the data?
That you know, that's I guess one of the setbacks of technology. There was a time early on when they were doing this that yes, they would have to do that. They'd have to come back, go back to the pump, and remove the device in order to get the information that they've downloaded off your card. Now with the Bluetooth technology, they don't even have to do that anymore. They can be 50 to 100 yards away, and they can download the information through a Bluetooth device. They don't even have to get back in the pump.
Are some of these guys getting caught?
Some of them are getting caught, but it's difficult. It's difficult to catch them.
And it's not necessarily at gas pumps. It can be other retail places as well, you told me.
As well, yeah. A lot of ATMs have it's a different type of device. On an ATM, it's something they slip over the front of the ATM. Walgreens, different places like that have had instances where they've installed a device at a U-scan, and you know, they're caught on video, and in some of these cases they've been seen on video, but they're generally coming from from around the country, so it's not like they're recognizable by anyone local. Some are getting caught, and you know, sometimes they do things that they're smart and then they're not smart. We've had a case here in Centerville where a guy was accessing the pump. Someone noticed him. He got spooked. He drove off. He then got picked up on a traffic stop somewhere else, but the officer that had responded to the station in Centerville, the guy had left his wallet there on the pump and had his ID, and they were able to track him down, and he had a history of credit card fraud violations, so they think that's probably what he was attempting to do at that time.
Okay. This is a relatively new crime. People are learning about it. Law enforcement is learning about it. You've been working with auditors from across the state to sort of tackle this issue, haven't you?
Yeah, you know, we mentioned we found the first 4 back 3 years ago. Well, it was last October we really started a rash of these things. And since last October, there's been 10 counties in Ohio that have had credit card skimmers found inside their gas pumps. Most of them have been in southwestern Ohio, and in Butler and Hamilton and Warren counties. We had one more sighting here in Montgomery. So most of them, though, have been around the interstate, along the I-75 corridor, been a few up around the Cleveland area, but mostly have been along this I-75 corridor. But yes, the auditors around the state are very concerned about this and are taking this responsibility very, very seriously. So we've been holding what we've called skimmer summits. We've held 7 so far at different locations around the state. Again, we're trying to educate our inspectors so they know what to look for, educate the public, raise awareness, work for local law enforcement officials so they know what to look for. So when you open up that pump, there's a lot going on in there. There's
Sure.
a lot of wires and a lot
Sure.
of connections, and so it's difficult sometimes to really know what these things look like. So we've been trying to educate and raise awareness the best we can.
That training and public awareness, and obviously that's the reason you're with me today.
Yes.
What is your message? You go out and meet with individual police departments.
Mm-hmm.
What is your message to law enforcement about this crime from your perspective?
If once they find one of these things, keep in mind that it is a crime scene,
Mm-hmm.
and they need to treat it as such. Close down the pump, take pictures. Now it's become beyond just a local thing. It's become, you need to contact the FBI, the Secret Service gets involved in these types of things because it's credit card fraud,
Mm-hmm.
it's identity theft. People have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars have been lost as a result of this. And so, you need to take it very seriously and take pictures, not to handle the device. It's not common to find a fingerprint, but you hope that maybe you can do that, but they're generally wearing gloves and that type of thing.
Sure.
But just so that they know what to look for. And a lot of the law enforcement officials that we've worked with, on this, they say, well, I don't even know what one looks like. And it's like you said, you saw the pictures, until you see a picture, you really don't know what these things are like.
Right. Well, what is the message to gas station operators, and how can they kind of minimize the risk of this? And then what's your message to consumers? What can we do to assist?
Well, as I said, auditors are doing their part.
Mm-hmm.
We're training our inspectors. Our inspectors are being very diligent at going out and checking the pumps. But we can only do so much. Our inspectors go out and check a pump. As soon as they close that pump up and get in their trucks and drive away, it becomes vulnerable again. So there's only so much we can do. So the gas station owners, the gas station attendants, they're really the first line of defense here.
Sure.
Having proper surveillance, checking their pumps on a regular basis, and by checking them, I mean opening them up and checking that credit card reader. In a lot of cases, they're starting to use tamper-proof seals across the doorways, so that if someone gets into that pump, it'll notice right away that someone's been in there.
Sure.
Improving the locks. I said a lot of these have universal keys that are opening up these pumps. So improving the locks, using site-specific keys, and a lot of stations are doing that. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the criminals are catching on to that too, and they're finding other ways of getting in them. So they're always kind of trying to be one step ahead of us.
Sure.
From the public standpoint, one of the things we urge the public is just be alert. Pay attention to what's going on. This is a routine, everyday thing that we all do. We stop and pump our gas, get gas for our car, and we just take it for granted. But you need to be alert. If you see anything that doesn't look right or see some suspicious activity, you should report it. If the tamper-proof seal has been broken, you should report it. If something doesn't seem just quite right, then say something about it. Mm-hmm. But one thing we urge people to do is never to use a debit card. Of course, the safest thing to do is pay everything by cash. But we know that that's not the most convenient thing for people to do. Mm-hmm. A good 60 or 70% of all the gasoline that's purchased in America is purchased by credit card. So we know that that's not what people want to do. People don't carry cash anymore. Mm-hmm. But we encourage them, if you use your credit card, it limits your liability. Banks will generally, if you're a victim of credit card fraud, banks will generally cover you for that. But if you use your debit card and you're a victim of a skimmer, now the skimmer has not only your bank account number, but they also have your PIN number. And with that bank account number and that PIN number, they can go straight to an ATM and just clean your bank account. And that's what we've seen in a number of cases. So that's one of the things we tell people is never to use a debit card at a gas pump.
Sure. Well, this is an issue that people are just starting to learn about. I think we're going to hear a lot more about it in the months and years ahead.
There was a county sheriff down in Florida who called this the crime of the future, and
right?
the future is now. I think
Sure.
It's pretty clear that it's out there, it's active, and we all need to work together to try to fight it.
We're all going to learn about it together, and the next time we have you on, maybe we'll get an update on that subject as well as anything else. And just appreciate you sharing the knowledge and sharing the information with us so that we can pass that along to our viewers?
I appreciate the opportunity. It's really important for us.
If anyone would want to call your office for any reason or look online for some information, let's give that contact number.
Sure, it's mcohio.org is our website.
Okay.
And then our main office number would be 225-6024. But if you've got a gas pump problem or anything like that, 225-6309. We are going around speaking to community groups about this issue. And if they'd like to schedule someone to come in and speak on this issue, they can call our office at 225-6024.
Great information. Montgomery County Auditor Karl Keith joining us here on Let's Talk Miamisburg. And Karl, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
We're going to take a 60-second break now. When we return, we're going to switch gears. We're going to talk a little bit about the Miamisburg Branch Library. Stick with us. And welcome back to Let's Talk Miamisburg. I'm Gary Giles. A reminder, we are coming to you live on August 10th. So if you're watching us on August 10th, you still have a chance to get in with any questions or comments that you might have for our guests. Our phone number here on the set is 424-1679. 424-1679. And as promised, we're going to change subjects now. We're going to talk a little bit about the Miamisburg branch of the Dayton Metro Library System. Joining me to do that is the branch manager in Miamisburg, Brielle Maynor. And on the far right of your screen is the Teen Services Librarian, David Senatore. Brielle and David, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
We appreciate your time. Let's start by just giving our viewers a little background on each of you, and we'll just start with Brielle, a little bit about your career.
This is my 5th year at the Miamisburg branch. I started in August 2011. Before that, I was at the Wilmington Stroop branch, and then also at the Westchester Library of the Midpoint Library System in Butler County.
Okay. David?
I am brand new. I've only been with Miamisburg for 1 year. Came from Kentucky, where I was also a teen services librarian for a small rural library there.
Well, welcome to Miamisburg belatedly. I know it's been about a year, but probably still a new face to many, some of the library visitors.
Still many things to discover, too.
Getting to know you, and after tonight, they'll know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
First time on our program, and we spread that around among the staff members.
Yes,
at
yes,
your
we all
branch,
take
Brielle,
turns.
which we like to do. We talked last year about plans for a brand new Miamisburg branch, and that's part of the entire system-wide facilities plan going on right now with Dayton Metro Library. Some renovations, some new construction, just touching so many people around the area, and now it's touching Miamisburg. The building project is well underway, and while we look at a couple construction pictures, why don't you tell us the status of the construction?
Sure. So Libraries for a Smarter Future is our system-wide effort to expand, renovate, replace every library in communities across Montgomery County. We broke ground in late March on our branch at the corner of Linden Avenue and 6th Street, where the Miamisburg High School was years ago. And we are slated to open January, February of next year. Things are running right along very nicely. Right now we are looking from let me think now, I think we're a little bit north of the site there. That rounded The rounded piece that you see there to the left of the screen, that will be the entrance, and that will be on 6th Street.
Okay, let's look at that second picture now if we could. This is a different angle. This is actually from the intersection, across
Yes.
the intersection.
Yep, diagonally across. And that corner of the building there will be the glassed-in teen area. So that will be where David offers all kinds of after-school enrichment programs and you know, some space for the teens to call their own and kind of blow off steam after school.
And then let's move from there. Remember that view, and then there's the artist rendering of the final product.
Yes, yes, that will be the finished product. I think 3 different colors of brick, plenty of nice warm wood there on the outside. So we hope that it, you know, it kind of just cozily snuggles right into that residential neighborhood.
It's always very exciting whether you're moving into a new workplace
Yes.
or a new home, whatever it might be. Are you sensing a lot of enthusiasm and excitement among your customers, among your staff, that type of thing?
Yeah, I think every other person we see wants to know, when is it going to open? What's going on? So, you know, we just, you know, we share what we know when we know it.
Sure.
Yep, yep.
Tentatively, and you never know with construction projects.
Very true.
When are you targeting as a move-in date for the new facility?
Sometime January, February of 2017. So pretty much right after the new year, we'll be boxing and shuffling things around.
And one thing I'd like you to talk about in conjunction with that move is the development of a time capsule.
Yes, yes. Every branch has the opportunity to put a time capsule together, and we are assembling one right now for the building. It will be opened in 2068, so the 250th anniversary of Miamisburg. Of course, I'm sure you've discussed the bicentennial that's coming up in 2018.
A little, but we'll be discussing it more.
Yes, I'm sure. So we've put in, you know, map of downtown Miamisburg with the businesses picked out, and you know what a weekly schedule looks like at the library, and some of the clippings and history on, you know, the Carnegie Center where we were from 1910 to 1981.
Sure.
And then how we moved into the current building, and then how things, you know, so kind of trying to tell the story of the branch and the city a little bit.
A lot of city officials were at the groundbreaking.
Yes,
It was
yes.
an enjoyable event and
Thank
a lot
you.
of enthusiasm there that day as well.
And the entire Kinder Elementary student body joined us, you
That's
might
right.
remember.
It was
Yes.
quite a group. A lot of things that patrons are interested in, conveniences. So what is being done in terms of parking for the facility?
The parking lot, we have partnered with the schools. Of course, we worked out the purchase of that corner from the Miamisburg City School District, and they have developed a parking lot across the street where the Wance building was for so many years, and that is now parking. We have the southernmost, I think, 40 so spaces. It'll be right across the street from our front door. The schools own the rest, and it's been nicely developed. They're using some carvings off of the old Wance building to fill in some green space. And then as we have big events, we'll use some of the school's parking. As they have big events in Memorial Auditorium or at Harmon Field,
Sure.
they'll creep over into our spaces. So, you know, it's another fruitful partnership.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit about what's going on at the current Miamisburg branch. This fall specifically, David, there's programming available for all age groups, but since you are the teen services librarian, let's start with that teen group and give a little preview, if we could, about some of the things to look for this fall at the branch.
Yes, one of the things we like to do when doing programming is always take input from our patrons and the community about what they would like to see us do. And so coming in September, we're keeping some of the things that have proven popular that people are still asking for. We'll continue to have chess club at the middle school on Wednesdays. We'll continue to have a book club at the high school. We'll continue to do teen hangouts every Thursday at the Miamisburg Library. And then based upon input, we're actually going to be offering 3 new things, which all just happen to be book discussion groups.
Okay.
We'll be starting a middle school book club, actually at the middle school. And then we're going to be partnering with our West Carrollton location to offer a book club called Proud Reads, which will focus on LGBTQ and spectrum books, and that is going to be for high school students through grades 9 through 12, open to anyone. And 1 month it'll be at West Carrollton, 1 month it'll be at Miamisburg. So if they want to know what we're reading and where we're going to be, just contact us at either location.
Sure.
And then my personal favorite, we are starting another book discussion group called Sweet Reads. This is for adults who want to read a light yet still satisfying book. It's going to be held at Bear Creek Donuts in downtown Miamisburg, and they are going to actually create a custom donut to complement each title that we read. So really looking forward to that.
My friends, we finally hit on a book club that I can get on board with. It's held at a donut shop.
Yes.
Okay, now we're talking. That's a new Miamisburg business.
It is.
Whose idea was this partnership?
It spawned from something that our downtown location is already doing. They have a book club called Publit, where they actually meet at one of the local bars.
At Bricks.
Bricks, and I guess it's not really a bar. Anyways, and I liked the idea, but I am not someone who partakes of alcohol, but I do partake of donuts, and they have some very nice donuts at Bear Creek, and so I asked Ryan there if he was interested, and he said yes, and it went from there.
Well, I can't wait to hear how that goes over. That's fantastic. Now, another thing going on in the fall, of course, is Halloween. Usually there is some library activities that revolve around Halloween. Is this year the same type of thing?
We do for the younger,
Okay.
and I guess it's more of a family-friendly. And forgive me, I always get tongue-tied on what we call the Spooky
Bird Bash.
Bash. That is, yeah. I don't know. I trip up on that. But we will be doing that for the younger kids. Our children's librarians host that, and of course, it'll be a nice big fun thing for the kids and for the family, really, to come out and partake.
And it's the Saturday before Halloween this year.
The Saturday before Halloween. Okay. Did you give a date for the book club? When will that begin? At the donut?
For the Sweet Reads will be the second Saturday of each month at 3:30. 3, thank you.
You're welcome.
Saturday
3.
afternoons.
Saturday afternoons, the second Saturday of each month, starting in
Has it begun?
September.
Starting September.
Yes, but the book is currently available now. You can come into Miamisburg Library and ask for our first book. We're doing The Sugar Queen by Sarah Addison Allen.
Okay. Any other highlights for the other age groups that you want to spotlight here in the program
Oh my
for
goodness.
this fall?
I
I know there's so much.
There is a lot of things that we are going to be doing, yes. Like I said, outside of some of the things that the kids are used to, we do have some like one-time only programs that we're going to be doing. We're going to have the Ohio Ghost Hunters coming in October. We're going to be doing a bike maintenance program with RTA in September, because we do have a lot of kids who like to ride their bikes. Actually, a lot of families too. That one really is family friendly. Anyone can come and partake in that. And oh gosh.
You were telling me about something very unique with Glenn Helen staff member coming in.
Yes. Right around the time that they'll be releasing the new Harry Potter movie.
Okay.
Only owls. So Glenn Helen will be bringing some of their owls out to share with our patrons.
Live.
Yes.
Owls in the library.
Yes.
Okay.
Actual owls. Yes.
Do you remember the date off the top of your head?
We'll
refer people to your website.
This
Yes.
is why we make
Okay.
calendars that patrons can come in and pick up and take with them.
Exactly.
Well,
yes.
then let's just mention now as we close out some contact information for your branch and then the online contact.
Yes. Our website is www.daytonmetrolibrary.org, and we can be reached through the Ask Me line, 463-BOOK, so 463-2665.
Okay, fantastic. Brielle Maynor, branch manager of the Miamisburg Branch Library, and David Senatore, teen services librarian at the Miamisburg Branch. Thank you both so much for being here.
Thank you.
Look forward to future updates.
Of course.
Okay. That'll do it for our August episode. We look forward to seeing you in September. Thanks for being with us. I'm Gary Giles. So long.